how's it going? This has been Clark. I'm giving you a demo of some item tests and set tests for the World of Warcraft API. Alright, let's go ahead and hop right into it. So if we take a look at these diagrams, the original assignment told us that we are going to be receiving some sort of JSON object. We should use some test logic to figure out if that JSON object is what the expected object is, and we'll give some sort of result. Now whether that's an assertion and the test itself passes, or actually return a result object to some sort of CI tool, for instance, Jenkins, or whatever level of abstraction that we want to do. I think that was way beyond the scope of what this was asking, but I figured I would go ahead and include at least some bastardizations of those ideas on a very simple and small level. So maybe a test that we had would look something like positive assertion for the United States. We would start a timer, create a user within the US region with a certain host in a certain locale, and then create a call manager object based on that user. This call manager object will be used to go get the JSON object for that specific region, for that specific user, for this specific assertion. So we're going to go get a certain set ID from that domain, from that URI. We'll execute that GET request, get that JSON object. This is the mocked up object. As you can see here, this mock data. Let's open it up. You would have like China. Let's open this one. There we go. And here's just your deep earth hand wraps. This is an example of an item. And this is saying set ID, and this one happens to be 1060. So particularly that, we'll see that for Europe. China and Korea has some characters that are not recognized within this IDE, which led to some other issues, which I will explain later during this demo. So this is kind of what you would expect it to look like, a generic test. But I actually started implementing a bunch of those things, so we ended up having some sort of user interface, which you are now looking at while I'm talking about the interface that you were looking at. Probably could have planned this out a little bit better. So this link at the bottom here will take you to this YouTube video that you're watching right now. If we go ahead and go back, let's go see the test cases now. Let's go ahead and click on all tests. It takes a little bit to load. One of the things I could have done to improve the user experience was to put a progress bar in the middle so that it could show, hey, this thing is loading, it's doing work. So as you look through all the tests, you can see that 2 of them have failed. We have the United States and Europe, positive assertions, set and item respectively. And the reason that these tests failed is because for them I have it set for a file manager object to actually return an incorrect value. I have this returning null right now. So whenever we do the comparison, it ends up not being, one of these ends up being null. So false is not successful. Kick off a bunch of other logic in order to handle how this shows up. The reason that I did this is twofold. One, to show that there's a lot of improvements and a lot of holes in this. Our standard data that we're getting is not even, when it passes, we are essentially running the call manager twice, which means that we are going and grabbing a JSON object from a GET request, and then we're going and doing that exact same thing again, and then comparing those two things. Now, unless something is changed in the, runtime divided by 2, essentially, unless something changes in that amount of time, this is always going to pass. So that's why I threw in these file managers with a negative assertion. Now, you're saying, Ben, you have all of these objects right here. Couldn't you run tests against these and call these your truth items, which is your... Yes, I could, except for that I failed with certain characters, and it was becoming increasingly frustrating, and I felt like this was already overkill anyways, because you wanted to see some tests, and I got very much carried away, and it turned into this monstrosity. So I just figured I would go ahead and give that explanation. So there's a lot of improvements that could be made. I realize that.
And I guess at the end of the day, I really just wanted to show that my technical skills would hopefully not be the thing that you really had to worry about. And there's really nothing for you to worry about. I love working on teams. I love working towards goals. I love missions. I enjoy having fun at work every single day. When you love what you do, it's pretty easy to try to become pretty good at it. So,
guess that's been my demo. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You guys have my info. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to show you what I just enjoy doing and love doing, and I hope that I can contribute to the team in a short time. Thanks.